Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. The German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, has rejected Polish demands for war reparations, stressing that the issue has been finally resolved. He presented his opinion in an interview for the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. According to Law and Justice MP Arkadiusz Malarczyk, Scholz is deeply wrong. The diplomatic note on reparations is yet to arrive in Germany, so it cannot be rejected before it is received, the Law and Justice MP said. Olaf Scholz, in an interview with the daily newspaper Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, referred to the issue of reparations. The Chancellor stated that Germany does not intend to pay any compensation. I can point out, like all previous federal governments, that this issue has already been settled under international law. Germany not only does not intend to pay the war reparations due to Poland, but also makes threats against the country. I have a question: how to properly estimate the value of the lost Eastern German lands of Silesia, East Prussia, West Prussia, Poznan and Pomerania, which were annexed to Poland after World War II? Or is it a taboo subject? The government said that the diplomatic note prepared by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will change Germany's policy in this matter. The Chancellor is wrong if he says that international law is on Germany's side. International law is on Poland's side, because war crimes, crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity are not time-barred. First, the consciousness of the German people itself on this issue, which is low, must change. In general, in the German public, perceptions of the crimes of the Germans committed during World War II are limited to the horrific murder they committed against the Jews of Europe, so to the Holocaust. Meanwhile, Gazeta Polska Daily interviewed the German historian Karl-Heinz Roth, who praised the Polish report. The scientist believes that Poland deserves the war reparations. The report on war losses presented on the 1st of September in Warsaw is a milestone in the field of historical research on the issue of reparations. Therefore, I would not limit this publication to the current situation. All the more so with disgust I take the negative comments of German historians and politicians who reject this work in advance. I even consider them shameful. Their opinion was not based on the reading of the first volume. They issued a verdict without knowing the content. The Germans believe that they do not have to pay Poland reparations because these were waived in 1953. Historians, however, recall that the decision had no legal force and that Poland was not a sovereign state at the time. This was a kind of compensation to the Soviets at the expense of Poland, of course. After the incidents, after the riots of June 1953, all communist power in the German Democratic Republic that had all existed for a few years. The Civic Platform Party has been inconsistent on the reparations issue from the very beginning. First, there were claims that reparations for World War II were a closed issue, while now Donald Tusk is creating himself as a supporter of reparations. A report prepared by Polish scientists determined that the amount of compensation due to Poland for the Second World War is 6,220 billion zloty. The sum includes an estimate of human, material and cultural losses. Day 196 of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Yesterday, the International Nuclear Energy Agency published a report on the situation in the occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres called for the demilitarization of the entire Zaporizhzhia region. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian forces are successively driving the enemy out of the occupied territories. In the Kharkiv region, Russian troops retreated to the left bank of the Seversky Donets rivers. This morning, Russian missiles struck the residential area of Kharkiv. Several buildings were damaged as a result of the attack. The missiles were fired from the S-300 anti-aircraft systems. These missiles hit Kharkiv very often. They have been modified to hit land targets. There is nothing unusual about it for us because it is our everyday life. The war, which has been going on for over 6 months, is contributing to an increase in poverty. Yesterday in Kramatorsk, hundreds of people lined up for food. According to reports from local authorities, currently around 13,000 people are counting on humanitarian aid from the World Food Programme. People have lost their jobs. There is no public transport. Some people work and receive a salary. But what about pensioners? Their benefits are only 2,000 hryvnia. How will they survive? I don't know what to expect from winter. There is nothing here. No gas. What happens if the electricity is cut off? Until recently, the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant satisfied about 20% of Ukraine's energy demand. Currently, the reactors have been disconnected from the country's energy system. The International Nuclear Energy Inspectors are still stationed on the site, but local residents do not believe in the success of their mission. The mission lasted only a few days and its main representatives left too soon. The Russians did not allow proper inspection of the reactors and their surroundings. They are still firing and the situation is tense. I think nothing will change. According to the report of the International Atomic Energy Agency, the complex is in danger of a nuclear disaster. For this reason, a special meeting of the United Nations Security Council took place yesterday evening, at which Secretary Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned that damage to the plant could have dramatic consequences for the entire region.
In any military activity towards the plant site or from the plant site, Zaporizhzhia facility and its surroundings must not be a target or a platform for military operations. As a second step, an agreement on a demilitarized perimeter should be secured. Specifically, that would include a commitment by Russian forces to withdraw all military personnel and equipment from that perimeter.
According to the Bloomberg agency, Vladimir Putin's economic policy advisor unofficially confirmed that Russia will face a much bigger crisis in the coming years than officially admitted. Analyses contained in a secret report prepared for the Russian authorities predict that Russia is facing a long and deep recession, a collapse in exports, and the emigration of qualified workers. The return to the pre-war state will not take place until 2028. I can assure you that so far we have not suffered any losses as a result of the actions in Ukraine, and I am sure that we will not lose anything in the future. But what we gained was enhanced sovereignty. I agree that there is some polarization both in the world and inside Russia, but it only works to our advantage. The invasion of Ukraine by Russian troops paralyzed transport in Black Sea ports. The stagnation of Ukrainian trade is exacerbating the prevailing economic crisis in the country. As a result, the European Commission has today proposed another $5 billion in macro-financial assistance loans to Kiev. In parallel, new sanction packages are being developed to hit the Russian economy.
Therefore, we will propose a price cap on Russian gas. Of course, the objective is here very clear. We all know that our sanctions are deeply grinding into the Russian economy. We will propose a mandatory target for reducing electricity use at peak hours, and we will work very closely with the member states to achieve this.
The European Commission wants to suspend the mutual visa facilitation agreement with Russia, which in practice means that Russians will pay €80 and not €35 to enter the Schengen area. In addition, Russian citizens will have to wait longer for the decision to grant a visa. The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, tweeted that the visa facilitation was an expression of the confidence that Russia had completely lost by causing the war. Today, President Andrzej Duda is in the Ivory Coast. In the country's capital, Abidjan, he had a meeting with President Alassane Ouattara. This is the Polish leader's second stop on his trip to West Africa, where he is discussing energy supplies to Poland, Russian food blackmail and Russian propaganda. I think Poland is a great country with a dynamic economy. The only thing I regret is that the level of our trade is not as satisfactory as we would like. Therefore, together with the President, we agreed that we will do everything to change the state of affairs, and hence also the idea to organise a business forum, which on the one hand will improve trade and on the other will contribute to cooperation between the business communities of our countries. We have listed several areas in which this cooperation is possible: agribusiness, science and research, energy, economics and finance, or finally, security and defence. We also welcome the signing of a memorandum on the establishment of political consultations between Poland and the Ivory Coast. I am very impressed by the extremely dynamic, first of all, economic development of the Ivory Coast over the last years, these 10 years that the President has been leading the affairs of the country. You can see the enormous global experience in the financial markets, in the world's largest financial institutions that Mr. President has behind him. And it also certainly allows him to go through many difficult moments in the development of the country here, in this part of the world, in such an excellent way. I also have no doubt that it is precisely this vast experience of the President that also makes it possible to look at the issue of the Russian aggression against Ukraine in a way that is very much in line with reality, to assess it and to conduct the country's policy in a way that is appropriate to the actual situation. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.